Good morning, children. Welcome to class 11 biology once again. Children, in a previous video, we were discussing about chapter 14, that is respiration in plants. So, we'll continue respiration in plants in this video. As I told you, respiration is the process or mechanism by which the food is broken down to release the energy. Okay, this is respiration. Respiration is of two types, aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. Okay, aerobic respiration, children, you know very well, that is the food is broken down with the help of oxygen. Okay, and the more amount of energy is released, more energy is released during aerobic respiration. Okay, the complete breakdown of food takes place in aerobic respiration, and in most of the organism the aerobic respiration takes place. Okay, clear? Now next, that is anaerobic respiration. Anaerobic respiration is the process of breakdown of food with the presence of carbon dioxide. Okay, means in the presence of carbon dioxide, the food that is broken down, the food that is broken down into the energy, and here the less amount of energy is released. Okay, in anaerobic respiration we can also say that it is the process that occur without oxygen. Okay, so children, in anaerobic respiration the less energy is released. Okay, and incomplete oxidation of food takes place. Clear? So aerobic respiration we are discussing. In aerobic we have seen that the first step, that is the breakdown of food, that is glycolysis. Okay, glyco, that is glucose, and lysis, that is breakdown. So breakdown of glucose we have seen in glycolysis that occur in cytoplasm of the living organism, and in which the two molecules of pyruvic acid are formed by stepwise series of reaction. Okay, various enzymes and various reaction are occur in glycolysis, and after that the two molecule of pyruvic acids are formed along with 8 ATP molecule. So 8 ATP that are synthesizes during the process of glycolysis. Okay, clear, children? So here the oxygen is there, but if the pyruvic acid they do not get the oxygen, so it lead to the process of fermentation. Okay, like if the pyruvic acid that doesn't have the oxygen, then it lead to the fermentation. How? See here now, children, one second. Yeah, see this. The pyruvic acid is there. Okay. This pyruvic acid, which are formed by the series of reaction in glycolysis, and after that the three option they have. The pyruvic acid, first it lead to the lactic acid fermentation, second it lead to the alcoholic fermentation, and third one, that is to aerobic respiration also. How? Means if oxygen is not there, if CO2 is here, then lactic acid fermentation takes place in the human muscles. Okay, if they also do not have the oxygen, they have carbon dioxide, they can lead to the alcoholic fermentation in yeast. Okay, in bacteria, in yeast. So alcoholic fermentation takes place. But if they got the presence of oxygen, they further lead to the aerobic respiration and form the TCA, that is Krebs cycle. Okay, means Krebs cycle फिर start हो जाती है. You got it about this? So the three situation here, that is lactic acid fermentation, second that is alcoholic fermentation, and third that is aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration, that is TCA or Krebs cycle. Okay, so all the process that we'll discuss here now. In children, in glycolysis, two molecules of ATP are consumed. Okay, you know very well. The series of reaction takes place. Double phosphorylation of glucose to fructose 1,6 bisphosphate. Then the two molecules of NADH2 that are formed at the time of oxidation of glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate to 1,3 bisphosphoglycerate. Okay, so by this way the net gain of ATP in glycolysis, that is 8 ATP. This we have discussed earlier. Okay, ग्लाइकोलाइसिस से पायरुविक एसिड बनता है और ग्लाइकोलाइसिस में 8 ATP मॉलिक्यूल फॉर्म होते हैं. ओके, आफ्टर दैट दिस पायरुविक एसिड is the key product, okay, of glycolysis. Further breakdown of pyruvic acid depend upon the need of the cell, whatever the requirement of cell. Okay, like if it takes place in humans, then we need our muscle cell need more energy, then it lead to the process of anaerobic respiration, that is lactic acid fermentation. मीन्स हैवी एक्सरसाइज करते हैं ह्यूमंस, तो उसमें क्या होता है कि सेल्स को और ज़्यादा एनर्जी की रिक्वायरमेंट होती है. एट दैट टाइम द सेल्स दैट रेस्पायर एनारोबिकली एंड दे फॉर्म द लैक्टिक एसिड. ओके, एंड दिस इज कॉल्ड लैक्टिक एसिड फर्मेंटेशन. सेम लाइक इन ईस्ट एंड बैक्टीरिया, लाइक they need more energy there, so the cells of the yeast that respire anaerobically and they form the alcohol. Okay, this is called alcoholic fermentation. Clear? Now see here, in animal cell like muscles, during exercise when oxygen is insufficient for aerobic respiration, then pyruvic acid is reduced to lactic acid by enzyme, that is lactate dehydrogenase. Okay, by the action of enzyme, that is lactate dehydrogenase, the pyruvic acid reduced to the lactic acid in human muscle. Okay, and this is called lactic acid fermentation. Okay, by this chart you can see very well here, that is glucose. The glucose convert into the glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate, then 3-phosphoglyceric acid. After that pyruvic acid are formed in glycolysis. Now the pyruvic acid will convert into lactic acid fermentation or alcoholic fermentation, depend on the need of cell. जैसे सेल को नीड होगी उसी के हिसाब से ये कन्वर्ट होगा. ओके, so it may be convert into lactic acid. Okay, in human muscles lactic acid fermentation takes place. Okay, we have seen that during heavy exercise our muscle cells need more energy. At that time they respire anaerobically and the pyruvic acid convert into the lactic acid. Due to that the peoples got the cramps. Okay, in bacteria and yeast, the pyruvic acid, they reduce the ethanol. They reduce to the ethanol, alcohol. Okay. If the concentration of ethanol that reached to the 13%, then the cell become poisonous and it may cause the death of the yeast also. Okay. So this is a flow chart that explains that the pyruvic acid can convert into the lactic acid or ethanol due to the need of the cell. Like in fermentation theory में आप देख सकते हो, in fermentation by yeast, pyruvic acid is converted to ethanol and CO2. The enzyme involved in pyruvic acid decarboxylase and alcohol dehydrogenase that catalyze this reaction. Okay, so by the action of pyruvic acid decarboxylase and alcohol dehydrogenase, the fermentation of yeast takes place and it may form the ethanol and CO2. Okay. In both lactic acid fermentation and alcoholic fermentation, very less amount of energy is released. Okay, children. Yeast poison themselves to death if concentration of alcohol reaches above 13%. Okay, like if the alcoholic concentration is reaches to the 13%, then the yeast cell become poisonous and it may lead to the death of the yeast. Okay, after that, the final product of glycolysis, that is pyruvate, is transported from cytoplasm into mitochondria for further breakdown. Like in plant children, they got the oxygen, then the pyruvic acid, they transport it from cytoplasm to the mitochondria. साइटोप्लाज्म से कहाँ जाएगा, माइटोकॉन्ड्रिया में, इफ दे हैव द ऑक्सीजन. ओके, without oxygen they lead to the alcoholic and lactic acid fermentation, but if they got the oxygen, then they transport it from cytoplasm to mitochondria. Okay, here children, after that oxidation of pyruvate to acetyl CoA is done to produce the CO2 and NADH. Okay, then the pyruvic acid react with acetyl CoA, that is coenzyme A, then they form acetyl CoA. Okay, means the pyruvic acid that react with a coenzyme A, and this coenzyme A, after the reaction, the pyruvic acid that form the acetyl CoA, and this acetyl CoA that goes into mitochondria and they start the citric acid cycle or TCA or Krebs cycle, means all are same. TCA, that is tricarboxylic acid, Krebs cycle and citric acid cycle, that is the same process, same name of one cycle. Okay, clear? Any confusion? Now here you can see that the acetyl CoA enters a cyclic pathway, that is TCA cycle or Krebs cycle. Okay, I'm showing in front of you this TCA, in which the pyruvate is written there. This pyruvate that convert into the acetyl CoA by the reaction with coenzyme, then it form the citric acid, then alpha ketoglutaric acid, then succinic acid, then malic acid, and in last it form the oxaloacetic acid, and this cycle further going on to release the energy. This is Krebs cycle because the Hans Krebs discovered this cycle. It is also called TCA, tricarboxylic acid, because the product, that is citric acid. Okay, clear? So this cycle will discuss in detail in the next video. Okay, thank you.